Carter, he's going on 5. He's wanted to be a computer man or garbage man or race car driver, things like that. So, we kind of ask him, are you open to being a priest or things like that? And he's like, yeah, sure. If I can do these other things, I can do that too.
Mark is 22 years old, grew up in St. Anne's, went to preschool here. All of his religious education was here. Life Teen was here, went to UGA. And then his senior year at UGA, he told us that he did not want to go to graduate school, which is what he had originally intended, but that he thought God was asking him to go to the seminary. So he's in seminary, the second year.
Paul was our first. He was prayed for awful hard because we had a hard time getting pregnant to begin with. It's even more of an interesting thing, and I wish his mom was here to tell you, is that she made a deal with God, unbeknownst to me, that said, if you give me a son, I will give him back to you. And she did this before we were even pregnant.
It was very important to us to have a strong faith life. We attended church every week, no matter where we were. When we were away for a soccer tournament, we found a mass, and we went to mass in soccer uniforms. And that was always important to me in my growing up years, and I thought it was a great way to raise children.
We go to mass always on Sunday or Saturday when we're able to, like when he's off from school. We take him to daily mass with us when we can, and say our prayers before we have dinner and read Bible stories at night.
We went to church. We did our holy days. We did special things around Christmas and Easter. We always had family get-togethers and things. We always prayed before meals. We always had sit down. And we could see this in our extended families, that they were doing the same things. But I wouldn't really say that we were extraordinary Catholics or anything. I would just say we were just run-of-the-mill Catholic family.
When the kids were younger, we prayed together every night. We would gather mostly in our room, I think. The kids would lay around us or sit around us, and I would rub their back and rub their hands, and we would say prayers and talk. As they got older and into high school, I would say not every night, but we tried.
We're trying to surround his life in faith, because I believe that is our purpose for being here, is for God. And so everything in our home reflects that faith is important, that he goes to school, faith is important, he goes to classes on Sunday. He's had a very good relationship with the priests here, and he always gives like Father Lamartine a high five, or when he saw Father Robert before, he would give him a high five, and him and Father Ray had a really, really strong relationship together. I think that because of the closeness that he had with some of those guys, he was like, seems like a cool job. They're really cool. So it's something that I would consider. Our home is just inundated with God, showing that no matter what you're doing in life, God should be number one.
They were always involved in religious education. I would say Mark, more than anybody, took to Life Teen. He very much enjoyed the friendships that he made there, the leadership of the core, and just the depth that his faith grew to was huge in Life Teen.
He wasn't even part of Life Teen here as he grew older, which was kind of interesting. The fact that he went to church when he went away to Georgia Southern, and he was like every other boy at Georgia Southern, he had his share of fun, but he went to church every week. I don't know if it was out of guilt or didn't want to tell his parents that he didn't want to go to church or what, but he went to church, and that was enough to keep him engaged long enough for the right people there to get a hold of him.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, we had an idea because we had discussed it over the years, discussions from the grandfather saying, I need a priest in the family. And of course,
my dad was big into talking to Mark about his faith.
That came up, and Mark never ruled it out.
Honestly, I didn't think it would ever turn out to anything. I thought it would be just something he looked into, and I never in a million years thought he would follow through, because it's a very long process.
In terms of the feelings that we had, was kind of a mixture. For sure, amazing pride that Mark listened, proud that Mark prays, proud that Mark has the courage to follow what he thinks God is telling him to do. Because, I'm not sure many of us or that brave.
It's not an easy journey.
There was a part of us that, goes through your head and you go, well, what about us? What about our grandkids?
Mark's not worried about that at all. So, I mean, goodness, why would I create a problem if there's no problem? He's happy to be where he is. He's elated, actually.
You can't even ever control that. Like, even if he decided to get married, you can't guarantee that there would be grandkids. So, it's all in God's plan anyways. Like, nothing is a guarantee.
There's a lot of things he could be into. This is not a bad thing for him to be doing. This is really a God thing, and he'll just have to be in charge of this thing, because we're not going to put up any obstacles to this at all.
I think that a lot of parents either just don't think about religious life being an option for their children. I think that was very popular, several years ago, like 50 or more. That was a very common thing. But I don't think nowadays it is something that's talked about when it's, job occupation day at school or career day or anything. I don't think it's as common now.
We've had friends of ours ask very pointed questions about Mark and his future. And, we always encourage them to educate themselves. Go talk to Mark. Ask him about it. Ask somebody that's doing this about it. Because there's a lot of negative misinformation out there about what a priestly life is like. It just scared me on Mark's behalf for some of the connotations that brings to him. I'm not worried for my son at all. It's a little shot to the heart when people have uneducated viewpoints about the beauty of Catholicism.
I think the other thing that parents need to know, I think a lot of people will say, it's so difficult to be a priest, so you should instead get married and have kids. And as a married couple, we also know that the vocation of marriage isn't exactly easy either. There is a lot of sacrifice, and there is a lot of work, and there is a lot of learning, and there is a lot of love, and there's hard days. And so any vocation that God is calling you to is going to have difficulties and highs and lows to it. And so I think people are, don't choose that because it's going to be such a hard life for you. It's like, I'm sorry, but marriage isn't perfect or easy either.
My wife and I pray for him every night. We've made that decision. We pray out loud for him every night, and for all priests and for all vocations, but specifically our son, because we know we know if the devil is going to be attacking anyone, he's going to be attacking us from the inside, and certainly our priests. We pray for that, which that in itself has enhanced, my marriage with my wife. With more openly we pray together, things that we didn't do when we first started marriage.
It's just been this transformation for us on what does our adult post-children faith life look like.
I think that Mark was born to evangelize, whereas that's not my jam. I like to do things for people. So if I can help people out, fix things, make sure their life is easier, or make them laugh, that's more my thing. When he talks about the praying and getting out there more, it pulls me out of my comfort zone.
It has made us much more intentional in who we are. What we do matters. What we say matters. Where we go matters. We support all of the things that he's involved in, and he drags us into a lot of things, and we've met a lot of people and made a lot of friends. And
Mark is happy. He has fun. He enjoys what he's doing. He's with a lot of like-minded individuals right now who challenge him. They go out into the community. They play sports together. They go surfing together. They travel together.
If you ask him the questions, he has great answers, and he's already getting a great education. But you can tell his answers come straight from the heart, and that he has researched this in every way, shape, or form. This is not just, hey, I just decided to do this over the weekend. He's been thinking about this for years, and he's very educated about it, and we're really proud of him.
He comes home on his day off, and the priests say Mass every day, and we have a little chapel in our house that we've made up, and we have Mass down there. Sometimes there's 2 of us, sometimes there's 20 of us, but we're just much more aware of our part.
You can tell he's all in. This is what he wants to do, and he's driven. And, it's nothing, you can't be anything but proud of all that.
No.
It's been very fulfilling. Whatever we lost in our own potential grandchildren, we've gained whole parishes of friends and people and young children. He has a young moms group, and they all have little kids that we know, and it's expanded our life a lot.
Come and talk to us. We have so much information. That's the first thing I did when I found out that Mark wanted to be a priest is I called Carol Porter, and I'm like, can we have lunch? Let's talk. And it was super informative, super interesting, very down to earth. Just ask us. Ask us a lot of questions. Happy to talk.
I think that some people forget that religious life is a career that you can choose in a way. Like, it is one of our vocations that can be something that your child can do. And I think having it as an option on the table is really important for children to be able to consider.
I think just reminding them about, it's an option. Things like that. Talking to them realistically about what it would be like to be a priest.
Everyone's probably telling you congratulations, but you're probably going, oh my gosh. But start asking questions, really get to know what your son is asking to do and wants to do and figure it out. There's several families that have had their sons go into the priesthood, and it opens up a whole new life for you.
First of all, who are we to hold back that kind of thing if God's working in their life? Very few people have that right under their nose, seeing something like that. Their children have, committed their lives to the Lord. So very few of us get to see that act out in front of us. So, I would say, who am I anyway to distract from that, to be an impediment to that? I get a lot of credit that I don't deserve, no doubt, but we do embrace it and appreciate that very much. I wish his mother could be here, because if you think I'm excited, she's even more excited. I think they had her on EWTN one night talking, and she's just, her blue eyes and fiery Irish freckles, she gets very excited talking about her son. All of her sons, but this one, she is special.